where in like, for instance, when they were in, like the kids were in preschool, there was an incident where Alex was being called names and one of the kids like had hit him and the mother of the child did not redirect. And that really upset me because it's not my job to redirect someone else's child. And so it bothered me that she did not find the need to instill kindness and tolerance in her child. And she kind of shrugged it off as kids being kids. And the same thing happened with actually a friend of mine whose husband recently died of cancer. We would go over to the house and her son, as well as a couple other children that were invited, would start to taunt Alex and call him names. And I wasn't in the room or in the pool area when this was happening, but Bill, my husband, had seen it and confronted the children and also confronted the parents. And one parent was very supportive and went outside to reprimand his kids. But my friend, who I had known from college since we were teenagers, never did anything to make it right. And she was like, well, I don't know what kind of game they're playing. Like they were playing a game, but Alex wasn't playing a game. He was the subject of being teased. And so we stopped going there as a result. And we had been going there for several years, especially during like the summer months, because they had a pool in the yard that we would go to. So that was one instance where there was definitely a treatment that, you know, was different. We've had instances where Alex has had like friends that he's played with, and if the parents saw that he acted a little differently, they would start to slowly kind of distance themselves from me. So I would, at first, they would like email and they were like real chatty with me, real friendly with me. And then when they noticed that Alex was a little different, the emails would cease. The social contact was shorter and not as warm. There was kind of like an unspoken message of, we don't want our child to be around your child anymore, other than maybe coming to your child's birthday party or seeing them at school, but otherwise we're not interested. And so that for me has been socially isolating, not just for my son, but for me, because, you know, when your child is ostracized, the parent also becomes ostracized in many ways. And I've never been one to consider myself a popular person, but I've always had good, strong friendships, especially being an only child. It was a necessity to have friends and to forge those relationships. And unfortunately, those relationships, other than my enduring ones from childhood and adolescence, have not easily been forged because my son's issues have bled into my adult relationships that have been made through, you know, parenting circles, if that makes any sense. I had another friend who started distancing herself from us when I had confided in her about Alex's problems when he was about 6 years old. Things started getting really pronounced, and he was talking about wanting to kill himself and throw himself in a ditch. And that's when we started getting him a psychiatrist. By the time he turned 7, he was only in the first grade. And when I confided in my friend, she acted very concerned. She even shed a tear. But shortly after that, I was hearing less and less from her, and the play dates were becoming less frequent. And then when I started reporting to her that he was doing so well and that he had made a turnaround, then she started to warm up again and would accept invitations to meet up at like Chuck E. Cheese or wherever. But it was contingent upon my report that my son was doing better, as if my son was going to hurt her children in some way, which he's never been aggressive towards other children. So that was very painful. I had told, I think I had told you the story before, that shortly after I had confided in her about his issues, she had tried to sell me makeup, some kind of, I don't even know, stuff that I never would need or use, and it just felt like a betrayal.